We have here a histogram, and a histogram is a graphical representation to display data. Each bar tells a different story. For example, in this first bar here, we have a total of 6 students who scored between 45 and 65. Sorry, 45 and 55. Now, how do I know whether they scored 55 or if they scored 55, are they part of this group or this group here? Because we have 10 students here who scored from 55 to 65. And so how many of the test scores are at least 65? Here's 65, so we know this entire group here scored from 45 all the way up to, oh, I'm going the wrong way, not at least, wrong way. This is less than 65. At least 65 is going to be these groups here, 1, 8, 9, and 2. And so this is at least 65 here. Now, with this representation, what we need to look at is there's something happening right at the borders here. And so there's just a generic rule or general rule we use. For example, to answer this, what is the most frequent interval for the test scores? This is the one that has 10 the highest, and that goes from here from 55 to 65. And so that's why this answer is here from 55 to 65. Now, the one thing we need to learn about interval notation is that this symbol here needs to include, right? This means do not include. If you see a parentheses, do not include. And so that's telling another story here, saying that this group of values here that makes up this bar is from 55, include all the test scores of 55, and go all the way up to 65, but do not include it. So that could include 64.9. So all these values here are 55. So the way that looks, it's all the values from 55 to 65, but do not include 65. So that could be 64.9, 64.5, and so there's a value in between there. That's why this notation is incorrect here, in that this only goes to 64, but where would 64.5 go? So in terms of if someone scored 64.5 points, where would it go in this graph here? It needs to go into this one here, but so that's why it needs to go all the way to 65 but not include 65.